Once the world was overburdened by the unnecessary defense forces of different kings, who were actually demons but were posing themselves as the royal order. At that time, the whole world became perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demoniac kings. Bhumi assumed the shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. She was bereaved and was weeping just to invoke the Lord's compassion. She related the calamitous position of the earth, and after hearing this, Lord Brahma became much aggrieved and he at once started for the ocean of the milk where Lord Vishnu resides. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods, headed by Lord Shiva, and Bhumi was followed. Arriving on the shore of the milk ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify Lord Vishnu, who had formerly saved the earthly planet by assuming the transcendental form of a boar. In the Vedic mantras, there is a particular type of prayer called Purushukt. Generally, the demigods offer their obeisance into Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by chanting the Purushukt. It is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can see the Supreme Lord of this universe. Brahma, whenever there is some disturbance on his planet, and Brahma can approach the Supreme Lord Vishnu not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. There is a planet within the universe called Shweta Deepa, and on that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is the ocean of salt water on this planet, there are various kinds of oceans on other planets. Somewhere there is an ocean of milk, somewhere there is an ocean of oil, and somewhere there are oceans of liquor and many other types of liquids. The Purush Sukt is the standard prayer which the demigods recite to appease the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. Because he is lying on the ocean of milk, he is the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. After all the demigods offered the Purush prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they apparently heard no response. Then Lord Brahma personally sat in meditation, and there was a message transmission from Lord Vishnu to Brahma. Brahma then broadcasted the message to the demigods. That is the system of receiving Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is received first by Brahma from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of the heart. As stated in the beginning of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Tene Brahma Hridayaya Adi Kavyai, the transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was transmitted to Lord Brahma through heart. Here also, in the same way, only Brahma could understand the message transmitted by Lord Vishnu, and he broadcasted it to the demigods for the immediate action. The message was this: the Supreme Personality of Godhead would appear on the earth very soon, along with his supreme, powerful potencies, and as long as he remained on the earth planet, to execute his mission of annihilating the demons and establishing the devotees, the demigod should also remain there to assist him. They should all immediately take birth in the family of the Yadu dynasty, wherein the Lord would appear in due course of time. The Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Krishna, would personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Before his appearance, all the demigods, along with their wives, should appear in different pious families in the world just to assist the Lord in executing his mission. The exact word used here is Tat Priyartham, which means that demigods should appear on the earth in order to please the Lord. In other words, any living entity who lives only to satisfy the Lord is a demigod. The demigods were further informed that Ananta, the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, who is maintaining the universal planets by extending his millions of hoods, would also appear on earth before Lord Krishna's appearance. They were also informed that the external potency of Vishnu, Maya, with whom all the conditioned souls are enamored, would also appear by the order of the Supreme Lord just to execute his purpose. After instructing and pacifying all the demigods, as well as Bhumi, with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all Prajapatis, or progenitors of the universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmaloka. The leader of the Yadu dynasty, King Surasen, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, wherein lies the city of Mathura as well as the district known as Surasena, which was named after him. On account of the rule of King Surasena, Mathura became the capital city of all the kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the kings of the Yadus dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwarka. Once upon a time, Vasudeva, the son of the Surusena, just after marrying Devaki, was going home in his chariot with his newly wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, had contributed a sufficient dowry because he was very affectionate toward his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. At that time, Kans, the son of Ugrasen, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses of Vasudeva's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother in law to their home. Because the newly married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family, the brother goes with her until she reaches her father's in law house. The full dowry contribution by Devika was follows as 400 elephants, 1500 horses, 1800 chariots, and so on and so forth. Now, while the bride and groom were passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moment. There were conch shells, bulges, kettle drums. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kams was driving the chariot, when suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which specially announced to Kamsa, Kansa, you're such a fool. You're driving the chariot of your sister and your brother in law, but you don't know that the eighth child of the sister will kill you. Kansa was the son of Ugrasen of the Bhoj dynasty. It is said that Kansa was the most demonic of all the Bhoj dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he caught hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was astonished at Kansa's behavior. He said, my dear brother in law Kansa, you're the most famous king of the Bhoj dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. How is that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of a marriage? Why should you be so afraid of the death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you began to die. Suppose you are 25 years old, that means you have already died 25 years. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? Final death is inevitable. As long as the living entity is conditioned with his material world, he must take material bodies one after the other. His next particular body is offered by the law of nature, according to the actions and reactions of his life. This body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in dreams. During our dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to mental creation. We have seen gold. We have also seen a mountain. In a dream, we can see a gold golden mountain by combining the two ideas. The nature of mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts, and sometimes and immediately it rejects the same thing. Accepting and rejecting is the process of the mind in contact with the five objects of sense of gratification. In its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the objects of sense gratification. And when the entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering by the laws of material nature. The living entity accepts a body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy or suffer according to the construction of the body. Unless we have a particular type of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivities inherited from the previous life. The particular type of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of death. Vasudeva thus requested Kansa not to be envious of his newly married sister. One should not be envious of anyone because envy is a cause of fear both in this world and in the next when one is before Yamraj. Vasudeva appeared to Kansa on behalf of Devaki, stating that she was his younger sister. He also appealed at an auspicious moment, at the time of marriage. A younger sister or brother is supposed to be protected as one child. The position is over also delicate. Vasudeva reasoned that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation. In this way, Vasudeva tried to pacify Kansa by good instruction as well as by philosophical discrimination. But Kansa was not to be pacified because his association was demonic. Because of his demonic association, he was a demon. Although born in a very high royal family, a demon never cares for any good instruction. He is just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instruction, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or aesthetic by nature can hardly assimilate any good instruction, however authorized it may be. That is the difference between demigods and demons. Those who can accept good instruction and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods. And there's those who are unable to take such good instruction are called demons. Now, falling in his attempt to pacify Kamsa, Vasudeva wondered how he would protect his wife. Devaki, when there is imminent danger, an intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible. But if, in spite of endeavoring by all intelligence, one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute his duties, but if the attempt fails, he is not at fault. There is no certainty how a living entity constructs a certain type of body. Now, Vasudeva, after deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Kamsa with great respect. Although Kamsa was a most sinful man, sometimes it happens that a most virtuous person like Vasudeva has to flatter a person like Kamsa, a most vicious person. That is the way of all diplomatic transactions. Although Vasudeva was deeply aggrieved, he smiled outwardly. He addressed the shameless Kamsa in that way because he was so atrocious here. Vasudeva said to Kamsa, my dear brother-in-law, please consider that you have no danger from your sister. You are awaiting some danger because you have heard a prophecy voice in this style, but the danger is to come from the sons of your sister who are not present now, and who knows, they may or may not be sons in the future. Considering all this, you are safe for the present, nor is there cause of fear from your sister. If there are any sons born of her, I promise that I shall present all of them to you for necessary action. Now Kamsa knew the value of Vasudeva's word of honor, and he was convinced by his argument. For the time being, he desisted from the heinous killing of his sister. Thus, Vasudeva was pleased and praised the decision of Kamsa. In this way, he returned to his home. Each year, after in due course of time, Devaki gave birth to a child. Thus, she gave birth to 8 male children as well as one daughter. Vasudeva kept his word of honor and immediately brought the child before Kansa. It is said that Vasudeva was very much elevated and famous for his word of honor, and he wanted to maintain his fame. Although it was very painful for Vasudeva to hand over the newly born child, Kansa was very glad to receive him. But he became a little compassionate with the behavior of Vasudeva. This event is exemplary. For a great soul like Vasudeva, there is nothing considered to be painful in the course of discharging one's duty. A learned person like Vasudeva carries out his duties, never hesitates in committing any abdominal action. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person can tolerate all kinds of miserable conditions of life. A learned man can discharge his duties without awaiting favorable circumstances. A heinous person like Kansa can act in a sinful way. And a devotee can sacrifice everything to satisfy the Supreme Personality of God. Kansa became satisfied by the action of Vasudeva. He was surprised to see Vasudeva keeping his promise. And being compassionate upon him and pleased, he began to speak as follows: My dear Vasudeva, you need not present this child to me. I am not in danger from this child. I have heard that the eighth child born of you and Devaki will kill me. Why should I accept this child unnecessarily? You can take him back. When Vasudeva was returning home with his firstborn child, although he was pleased by the behavior of Kamsa, he could not believe in him because he knew that Kamsa was uncontrolled. An atheistic person cannot be firm in his word of honor. One who cannot control the senses, cannot be steady in his determination. The great politician Chanakya Pandit said, never put your trust in a diplomat or a woman. Those who are addicted to to unrestricted sense gratification can never be truthful, nor can they be trusted with any faith. At that time, the great sage Narada came to Kamsa. He was informed of Kamsa becoming compassionate to Vasudeva and returning his firstborn child. Narada was very eager to accelerate the descent of Lord Krishna as soon as possible. He therefore informed Kamsa that in Vrindavan, personalities like Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd men and their wives, and on the side Vasudeva, his father Surasen, and all his relatives born in the family of Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, along with all their friends and well-wishers, were actually demigods. Narada wanted Kamsa to be very careful of them. Since Kansa and his friends and advisors were all demons, demons are always afraid of demigods. After being thus informed by Narada about the appearance of the demigods in different families, Kansa at once became very much alarmed. He understood that since the demigods had already appeared, Lord Vishnu must be coming soon. He at once arrested both his brother-in-law Vasudeva and Devaki and put them behind prison bars. Within the prison, shackled in iron chains, Vasudeva and Devaki gave birth to a male child year after year, and Kansa, thinking each of the babies to be the incarnation of Vishnu, killed them one after the other. He was particularly afraid of the eighth child, but after the visit of Narada, he came to the conclusion that any child might be Krishna. Therefore, it was better to kill all the babies who took birth from Devaki and Vasudeva. He first of all imprisoned his father